Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at r/am I overreacting? And if you would like to sit here and judge whether this person, and if you would like to sit here and judge whether these people are big stressy balls of drama with me, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Okay, before we get started, let me tell you something really odd that happened to me earlier. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not that odd, but to me, it's so odd and it really threw me through a loop. So I've been waiting for an appointment with a neurosurgeon for not too long, actually. The referral seems to be pushing through pretty quickly. You know, they send me updates now and then just to say you're still on the waiting list, you're still on the waiting list. And I've finally had a call from the hospital, basically saying we have your referral in our hands. We can't give you an appointment date, but I just wanted to check some data with you. Basically, I changed my entire name once upon a time, so it crops up now and then as a bit of a problem. So that was what threw them through a loop. And it's a good job she did call, actually, because she then says to me, we also have an address. I just want to check that this address is correct. So we have a, let's say, 103 Big Old Tree Street. Is that your address? Now, 103 Big Old Tree Street is the address I lived at for 5 years in my infancy, from a newborn to 5-year-old. And the only time I would have ever gone, and this was before I moved counties, by the way, because this hospital is in the county I used to live in. The only time I went to that hospital was when I had my tonsils removed, and then I had a hemorrhage after having my tonsils removed. Big trauma, apparently. I don't remember it, but my mum said it was traumatizing. And then I also smashed my head open in a supermarket and had to go to that hospital. So they still have my address from when I attended that hospital as a 5-year-old 29 years ago. And hearing that address, the only reason I knew it is because, like, it was a weird area. So now and then my dad or my mum will tell like funny little stories about when we lived there, and there was a few odd things that happened there as well. My mum's convinced it was haunted. Like one day I apparently turned around to a screaming bloody murder upstairs. She was trying to get me come down for lunch, and I was like, I am not coming down those stairs. This is where my other mum threw me down the stairs and killed me. Apparently I said that. What a little weirdo am I? So yeah, I knew this address just from them talking about it. I didn't know the number of the house, but I knew the street. So when she said it to me, it really threw me through a loop. I was like, what? How do you have that? And the woman was just like laughing. She was just like, oh yeah, we keep everything. Like, bloody hell, dear, my goodness. So yeah, I just found that really funny. It was like a right little blast from the past. Anyway, so first post, am I overreacting? My ex-wife and her new husband legally made their last name my full fucking name. I beg your finest pardon. What? So, you know, in the previous video where we spoke about like a commenter saying that this person was living rent-free in the OP's head, like the OP is clearly living very much rent-free in these people's head. My life. You cannot make this shit up. I was married once. My ex-wife blew it all to hell by cheating on me with one of my closest fucking friends. Goodness me. That betrayal crushed me, but whatever. I rebuilt. She kept my last name after the divorce. Weird, but I let it go. See, I can understand why people would do that, say if they had kids and they wanted to have the same last name as their kids. But if you don't have kids, that is a bit odd. A bit odd. Fast forward, she marries the guy she cheated with. Fine, closure, good for them. But here's where it goes off the rails. Her new husband's last name is the same as my first name. So when they hyphenated, their big shiny new married surname is now my entire legal name. Odd. That's so odd. His last name. I can't imagine getting married, getting a divorce, and wanting to then have a last name that is the literal full name of my ex-husband. Absolutely not. Imagine your name is David Carter. The guy she cheats with is named John David. They married, hyphenated, and proudly announce themselves as Mr. and Mrs. David Carter, which is literally your name. See, if I got married, I wouldn't even take the bloke's name. They'd have to take mine because I like my last name, actually. So yeah, they can suck it and take my last name. They're on Facebook, smiling, posting, here's to the new official Mr. and Mrs. David Carter. Meanwhile, I'm staring at my phone thinking, holy f***, my ex-wife and her affair partner just legally rebranding themselves as me. And I bet you're not the only one who thought that, because there are going to be people that know you, people that know him, people who know her and know you all together because he was literally your best friend as well. And there is going to be many others side-eyeing that intensely. And no, my name isn't common. People are going to see it and just assume it's me. So tell me, am I losing my mind here? Or is this just as completely fucked up as it feels? Edit. I am not on their social media. A mutual acquaintance sent me a screenshot with the adjoining text. What the fuck is wrong with them? See what I mean? Other people are going to be side-eyeing this. Edit 2. If anyone would like proof, please wager $20 or more and I will gladly supply you proof and my Venmo. Literally, make them work for it. That is so weird. Like I say, I would never want to have my surname be the full name of any of my exes, thank you. I very much believe in you move on, you move forward, and you leave the past behind. And if it would so happen, if I was hyphenating my name and it would so happen that that would mean that, well, unfortunately, I would have the same last name as my ex's full name, I would be saying, okay, so I've either got to take my future husband's name and just drop mine, or they have to take mine. And of course they'd be taking mine, obviously. So down in the comments, Bobazette says, it's a win on your side. You'll be a constant reminder of a constant presence weighing on their marriage. Every time she'll sign something, she'll think of you. Every time someone will call her by her full name, Mrs. John David, she'll think of you whether she wants it or not. I think that might be the point, you know? I think the OP's ex-wife has some big issues. And I ain't talking about the magazine either. You know, I genuinely think she does because, this is so odd. Right now, it's fine. They're in honeymoon phase, but eventually they'll both feel it. After every fight, every disagreement, especially if or when one of them cheats. Let's call that a when and not even an if. Meanwhile, you have an objectively funny story to tell. Sorry, OP, and get to move on with your life. They don't. For them, moving on will be impossible. Yeah, literally, you get to tell everyone your ex-best friend and your ex-missus who cheated, who had an affair, are obsessed with you. And that's just making them look bad, not the OP at all. I would, however, implore the OP to double check their locks at night, maybe get an extra deadbolt perhaps, because it does seem that both the ex-wife and the ex-best friend are having some troubles moving on from the OP. Just a smidge. So JDuchess13 then says exactly what I was going to say. You've won, you've moved on, rebuilt, you found out your best friend was a snake and your wife was a cheat. Your friend is an absolute idiot for marrying a woman who was cheating in marriage. She will most likely cheat on him too. Plus, every day is a constant reminder that she's your used goods. See, I'm not a fan of that saying because it's implying, and it rolls back to that horrible misogynistic thing that men seem to try to use against women, that if you have ever slept with anyone in your life, you're tainted, you're gross, and you're worth nothing. So I kind of try to avoid using that verbiage, as it were, but I understand the meaning. Not to mention your ex-wife is probably resentful that she fucked up her marriage with you. You're living in both of their minds rent-free and a constant reminder to the both of them whenever they need to print their full names. Meanwhile, you're building a new life, leaving the chaos behind while they share their own filth together. Literally, like, you are just the center of their universe. And again, check those flippin' locks, my friend. Next post, am I overreacting over this small prank? Reposting this with pictures because it got buried and I could really use advice right now. Firstly, I apologise for the long post. There's a lot of context and I can't condense it more than I have. I, F22, have been with my boyfriend M25 for a little over a year and a half. Recently, we've been running into hurdles because I've been feeling like he has been bothering, teasing, poking, biting me more than being a serious, loving partner to me. For context, I mean making weird noises all the time. Referencing Italian brain rot, literally, I would divorce right there and then. Divorce? Oh, he's only your boyfriend. I'd kick him out right there and then just for that. Oh, there's nothing more annoying. Or groping me randomly, even if I'm in the middle of a sentence and talking about something serious, etc., when I would prefer active listening, loving touch, unironic quality time. Off the bat, just reading that, it sounds like this OP's fella does not respect them at all and is blatantly showing them that. Because if they're trying to have a serious conversation with them about something, like maybe something that's bothering them, or, just something that needs some seriousness and needs some active participation, and he's just there like trying to grope her and not listening and not engaging. He's telling you how he sees you without telling you how he sees you. And he sees you as his to play with, essentially, and nothing more. We had a huge conversation about this recently as I was on the brink of ending things with him, since the lack of warmth relative to his unseriousness was making me feel empty. I would also just like to put it out there that I think it's great to be able to be unserious, be silly, have a laugh. Obviously, I said about the Italian brain rot, I'd kick him out just because I find those memes and all of that crap so annoying and just not funny at all, and I could not be around someone if they were constantly making and referencing and doing the noises from stuff like that. But someone just being silly, making silly noises, referencing programs you've watched, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is a time for silly, and there is a time for having fun and what have you. And when you're trying to have a serious conversation or just chill and they can't leave you alone, not good. Since then, there has been a genuine effort and big improvement, and I was starting to feel very hopeful that this was something we could work through. Fast forward a little, and I am starting a new job as an educator. And while I am very excited about it, it is also a huge adjustment and has been really stressful. On top of that, for the past 6 days, I have been hearing this bizarre beeping noise coming from my closet that chirps once every 20 to 40 minutes, driving me nuts. Burn the closet down! Oh my god. I can't with repetitive noises like that. I'd be going mental, tearing the place apart trying to find it. Oh my goodness. I couldn't figure out what it was. It was keeping me up and infiltrating my dreams, and it started to freak me out since nothing I own makes that sound. Nothing in my closet even had a battery in it. And from my overall stress and lack of good sleep, I was starting to grow paranoid that someone had planted a device in my room. To add to this, I am extremely private, and the only people who are regularly in my room are myself and my boyfriend when he visits. This led me to fearing that my boyfriend was secretly stalking me and had planted a mic or something in my room that was starting to make noise. I had zero reason to believe this and had 100% trust in him, but was starting to go crazy. I mean, if there's no one else going in your house, you absolutely would just put the two and two together and think that, wouldn't you? It even happened while talking with my therapist, and when I explained the mystery of its origins, she seemed equally concerned. To make matters worse, the fridge at work is broken and peeps 9 times every minute, so it's starting to feel like the chirping is following me, compounding my general stress. This sounds awful. This sounds like a genuine form of military torture. That sounds so horrible. Last night, after a stressful day and finding out some unrelated unsettling news that is enough to emotionally affect me on its own, my sister heard the noise as well, and we decided to tear my closet apart at 10 p.m. I am so surprised you didn't do it earlier, my love, to be honest with you. I would have been in there the first night going, "Where the fuck is it? Where is it?" Like some little rabid gremlin. When I had to wake up at 6 to figure out what has been plaguing me. After timing the beeps for an hour, it beeped in irregular intervals. We found this tiny Arduino? Oh my goodness. Bored, deep in one of my boxes labelled Annoying PCB, as pictured. Google it. Its literal sole purpose is to drive its victims insane. I was immediately horrified, quite literally shaking and crying as my wildest nightmare of someone planting a device in my room had literally come true. My immediate thought was, who would do something like this? What did I do to deserve this? I mean, we all know who would do something like this. Your annoying, immature boyfriend, my love. I called my boyfriend immediately and he admitted he knew what it was. I hung up and haven't spoke to him since. I don't blame you. The reason I'm not sure if I'm overreacting is because on one hand, I understand how this might be funny. No, funny for a day, funny for an hour, just to wind someone up a little bit. Yeah, maybe. I could see that. Leaving it with you for days on end when he would have absolutely seen you going nuts because this thing is driving you mental, you cannot sleep, leaving it with you and not then going and either removing it or taking it out and going, I'm so sorry. This has got a bit out of hand. It was just a prank, but I can see it's really affecting you. No, he is an absolute poo hole. I couldn't think of a worthy insult that wouldn't get me suppressed. But to me, that doesn't matter, given A, the fact that I have been feeling like he hasn't been generally serious with me to a problematic extent, B, the fact that this has been plaguing me and disrupting my sleep for literally the first week of my new job. Exactly. This was a week he left this in your room, knowing what it does. C, I have been complaining about it to him for days, and he played along being confused and concerned, repeatedly asking me, what does it sound like? And even dismissing my genuine concern and paranoia, saying, maybe there's a little cricket in your room. That is evil. So he basically also gaslit her into thinking she was going nuts. That's genuinely very concerning behaviour. What a nasty little toad he is. I just feel like this is on par with glitter bombing. No, it's not. The glitter bombing is just irritating until you hoover it up. Yeah, you might get the odd bit here and there. I mean, it is stage herpes after all. But this is nowhere near the same. Like something you do to someone you hate, not the supposed love of your life. Oh, I get what you mean. I thought you meant like the actual glitter bomb itself. You mean the act of glitter bombing someone. Nope, I'm on the same page with you. I don't think this guy likes you. I think he enjoys torturing you. He gets a kick out of that, but I don't think he likes you, my love. It feels like psychological warfare, and between stretching this out for days and planting it in my room, this feels like a massive breach of trust. I haven't spoken to him at all, and he's been texting me saying things like, it was just a prank, and beep beep, beep beep, and I miss you, and please don't ignore me. Literally message him, tell him it is over. He is not worth it. He sounds insufferable. I think I would rather shit in my hands and clap than ever be with someone like him, to be honest. I don't feel ready to speak to him at all. Maybe it was a good prank note with bad timing, but I can't help but feel like this is just setting us back again, and I am genuinely shaken. My voice is going, excuse me, I'm sorry. I honestly don't see a future at this point, and I'm really not sure what to do. If you've read this far, thank you for listening, and I appreciate any advice or kindness. Dump him. He is annoying, useless, and immature. Get rid of him. Why do you even want him? What does he do for you exactly? I don't think a lot, personally. And he knew what he was doing, and he sounds just like a horrid person, to be honest. He's one of them that gets a kick out of everyone else being miserable. I can't stand those types. So then we have some screenshots of the actual device, and you can see it there. It's just like a little motherboard. And yeah, assembled in the USA. Wow. Yeah, that would be getting shoved so far up somewhere where the sun don't shine. He'd be brushing his teeth and it. Let's have a look at what the comments have to say, shall we? Although I'm pretty sure I can guess. So Vast Equal 1367 says, hun, this is psychopathic. Genuinely, he has no empathy for you. Okay, I'm speaking as someone who has insomnia. Me too, it sucks. But intentionally messing with one's sleep should be an automatic deal breaker for everyone. There is a reason that sleep torture is probably seen as one of the most cruelest ways to torture someone by keeping people awake. Because 3 days of no sleep and you're starting to hallucinate, or at least audibly. And yeah, you're going to start to experience things very much close to akin to psychosis. It's scary. There's something wrong with this dude. If you stay with him, you're going to end up married to a total tool who takes joy in making you miserable and then hits you with, "It's just a joke," every time you break down sobbing at him over his behaviour. And then you're going to divorce him anyway when you're fed up with him in your 40s. Exactly, and then you've wasted a good chunk of your life on this absolute loser. Better to break up now. You aren't crazy. You can break up with anyone for any reason. You are allowed to only date people you like. Crazy concept, I know. I've been there and I empathise. Me too. But really, you are. Do you even like him anymore? You don't date men just to make them happy. Date a guy, or no one, that makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Better to break up now. You aren't crazy. You can break up with anyone for any reason. Coincidentally, this is also why so many women get divorced later in life. They grow a spine and decide to live for themselves after living to please their husband for a decade or two. Unfortunately, young girls often taught that they don't deserve standards and that their real purpose in a relationship is to make the man happy, which creates these unfortunate circumstances where women think they are bad people for daring to commit the sin of breaking up with their crummy, lame duck boyfriend in the first place. I wonder if that's meant to say dick and not duck. But literally, I make sure I tell my daughter constantly how a bloke does not get to have dominion over her, does not get to tell her what to do. She deserves to be treated equally to them. And I just make sure that she knows if she ever ends up in a relationship with one or married with one, they do not control her life and she can do whatever she wants. And if, in fact, he starts to try to, she can come back home. And I dare any bloke to try and get through my door without my permission. Break the cycle, break up now. And as an aside, make sure you have good, strong standards moving forward. It's so much better to weed out the bad or meh dudes early on during the dating phase. Filtering out incompatible partners is the point of dating, so make sure you're cognizant of that after you break up with this dud. And of course, I'm going to point out, because I know that someone's going to want to, if I don't, if you are with a woman and she's trying to control you and doing these weird things, that is also not good and you should leave. Because, you know, women can do it too. Statistically, though, it's more likely that it's going to be a bloke doing it to a woman, unfortunately. But yeah, obviously. I do recognise, and I think anyone with a brain would recognise that, you know, women can do this to blokes too, and it's not right. And blokes can do it to blokes, and women can do it to women. If your partner's shit, just leave them. Okay, I think that's where we're going to leave it for the day. If you made it all the way to the end, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, maybe even a cheeky little share, I would appreciate you very, very much. And that is your initiation into the cult of void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.